Hello buddy and welcome, I'm Comodin Cam, and what I'm going to be reporting on today may be the first bit of news on a brand new Transformers video game. Now I know we are still mourning the loss of Transformers Reactivate that unfortunately got cancelled, but there may be hope after all. With Hasbro's new report coming out, they have announced that they have partnered up with Saber Interactive, the team behind the smash hit video game of 2024, Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. I wonder what IP that could be. My Little Pony. No, of course, it's got to be Transformers, right? So yes, take this with somewhat of a grain of salt. I mean, it is true that Hasbro have partnered up with the Space Marine 2 developer Saber Interactive, but whether or not they're actually going to be working on Transformers, who knows? I think absolutely, because the recent news of Reactivate and with Hasbro's statements of wanting to work on video games, this just, put two and two together. And you look at Space Marine 2, it would just work so well with Transformers. Granted, I've not played it yet myself, but I so desperately want to with all of the game footage I have seen. It's just one of those games that I know I'm going to get lost in, so I don't actually have the time to play it right now. I will eventually, of course. I'm not the biggest Warhammer fan, I can't claim that I know much about the lore, but this video game sparked my interest for sure, and if they can apply this formula to the Transformers brand, I think we've got a hit on the way. Of course, it's probably going to be, a good 4 or 5 years maybe, who knows, but the fact that Hasbro and Saber Interactive are now working together, this gives me hope. So let's actually get into the source. So this is from Hasbro themselves. During their fourth quarter and 2024 full year financial call, Hasbro issued a press release outlining their future strategy. They talk about a bunch of things: profitable franchises, aging up, everybody plays, digital and direct, partners scaled, all of that. And they have over 1,000 plus partners. Many of these are Disney, Netflix, Universal, Lionsgate, Sony, etc. And one that you can see right there is Saber. So yes, it was revealed in their report that they partnered up with Saber last year. Great news. So where does this lead? Well, they have partnered up with the Space Marine 2 developer Saber Interactive on a new AAA video game based on a tentpole IP. So they're not outright saying it's Transformers, probably for legal reasons they can't actually say that yet. Now bearing in mind, Gematsu and Polygon have reported that this could be G.I. Joe, Dungeons and Dragons, or of course Transformers. So there is that possibility that this could be a Dungeons and Dragons game or G.I. Joe. Now, Dungeons and Dragons seems more than likely than G.I. Joe, but I still believe that this is going to be Transformers, given the recent unfortunate demise of Transformers Reactivate. Of course, as we've been told by Hasbro themselves already, they want to focus on video games. And as we know already, Hasbro have pulled from financing the Transformers movies. Well, financing movies in general. And I think Hasbro have made a really great choice here, considering that Space Marine 2 was 2024's most successful game, with so much positive reception and strong sales. We have a quote from the Hasbro CEO, Chris Cox. He says, "We have many new digital collaborations in the works, but I'm especially excited to announce this one today. Being a personal fan of many of this team's games, Hasbro and Saber Interactive will be collaborating on an all-new video game partnership developed by the team's 2024 mega hit, Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2, combining high-octane single-player and amazing multiplayer. With Saber's Swarm tech, this new AAA based on one of our tentpole IPs is sure to be a hit." High-octane. What does that remind you of? The Transformers franchise, of course. So it just put two and two together. I would be gutted if this is Dungeons and Dragons, but I really think this is going to be Transformers. Hasbro will be quick to find a new developer after the unfortunate cancellation of Reactivate. And I think this is just a brilliant match in heaven. Considering what happened with Reactivate, I think it's logical for a majority of Transformers fans to keep their expectations low. Do that so you don't feel disappointed. But I gotta say, with the phrase high octane, I've got a feeling that this is going to be Transformers. I mean, look at the Space Marine style. Look at that game. You can just imagine Transformers with that skin. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be a copy of Space Marine 2. Of course not. But the fact that Saber can create these great games, I feel like they can do something unique and different with Transformers. Now I imagine they are just getting things started, so it could be a few years until we find out what IP that Hasbro have given to Saber. So I imagine maybe a good 2 to 3 years we'll start to get more rumors, more sort of leaks coming in. but I don't think we'll be kept waiting for long. I know some people will be quick to make their jokes of, okay, another decade we're gonna have to wait. I won't be that cynical. I don't think we should be cynical. Of course, Reactivate was an unfortunate loss for us all, but I think optimism is the key to making this game a success. I do not want this potential new game, whether it's Transformers or not, to be ruined by toxic fan behavior, because who wants that? You know, we want a new Transformers game. Hasbro knows we want a new Transformers game. So we've just got to show a lot of support, a lot of enthusiasm, because they're going to see that and it's just going to work so much better. If they see us with pitchforks yelling outside of their headquarters or whatever, it's just not a good look. I don't want to be part of that, because that is just abhorrent behavior, you know? And this isn't even Hasbro's fault with Reactivate. As it's come out, as it's been reported, Tencent, one of the parties that were involved in funding that Transformers game, they were the ones who pulled out and left, unfortunately, splash damage in the dark and directionless on what do we do? You know, and Tencent have been notorious for doing stuff like this. Apparently, and we don't know how true this is, but they only wanted the Transformers name so they could add it to their library, their portfolio, you know, not actually committed to making a game. So yeah, so Hasbro is not to blame for this. Hasbro wanted that game out more than anybody. Of course, they want the next big Transformers game, like how they had it back in the day. And with that now done, with Reactivate, you know, officially cancelled, it's time to wipe the slate clean and focus on the future. And I think this could be it. Now I know the comments already are going to be constantly repeating, Cam, this could be Dungeons and Dragons. And that is a possibility. Of course, anything's a possibility. Maybe they have partnered up with Saber Interactive to make the next big, high-octane My Little Pony video game. For all we know, who really knows? We won't know for 2 years. And that's, in some ways, part of the fun, part of the speculation. And I think this, to me, 2 and 2 together, I think it's obvious it's going to be Transformers. But I can understand why a lot of people may have that doubt, considering what we've just had to go through. And it's understandable, and I get that for sure. But I think it's time for me to play Space Marine 2. I've been holding off for a while because it's just a hell of a game to commit to, and I have got so many video projects that I need to get done. So I just know this is one of those massive games that as soon as I, you know, enter the first stage, pick up that controller, I'm going to be gone for about a month or 2. It happened when I played the Dark Souls trilogy. It happened even more when I played Elden Ring. So these kind of games, you know, I like to be dedicated to them. I like to get lost in that world, playing constantly, hours on end with no other distractions. So yeah, and there's just something awesome about the Hasbro CEO Chris Cox saying that he's a personal fan of Saber's games. It gives me confidence that he's committed to it. I can imagine he was playing Space Marine 2 and just had that light bulb of like, Transformers. This has got to be with Transformers. How do we make that happen, you know? But of course, as always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think with Hasbro now partnering up with Space Marine 2 developer Saber Interactive that we're going to be getting that next big AAA Transformers game? I mean, tentpole IP. Transformers is Hasbro's biggest IP in the world. It's high-octane action, you know, so I just think this is just a great partnering. And I've not even discussed about what it could potentially be in terms of like, will it be set on Cybertron? Will it be on Earth? I want him to go to Cybertron. I think the games work so much better when it's on Cybertron. We saw what Rise of the Darkspark did by having elements set on Earth, and it just didn't work. I liked it in the Revenge of the Fallen PS3 game, but that was just a sandbox area. That was just like, kind of like the movies. It was just fun, but it didn't have a structure. It didn't have a real strong structure to it. I mean, this could be a galaxy game. Maybe we could go to different planets. It just doesn't have to be Cybertron. That would be an exciting element to explore space within the world of Transformers. This is just my thoughts, however. Of course, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Of course, check out this for yourself. I'll leave all the sources in the comment section below. So this is true. This is not like a gotcha moment. This is real. Hasbro have partnered up with Saber Interactive, and I think greatness is on its way. I've been Comodin Cam, and until the next video, goodbye.